All right, everyone. I'm here with my friend Javier Pulido from 10X Advantage. And Javi is one of those guys who is, I think, just one of the more brilliant digital marketer strategists that I've met. And so I wanted to just introduce him to our community and give him a chance to say hi. And we'll just chat through about what he's doing. And hopefully, we'll come out of this with some tips and tricks for today's very complex digital world. So, welcome, Javi. How are you doing?
Hey Patrick, thank you so much for having me here. Really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Good. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about 10X Advantage.
10x Advantage actually came from my struggles. The struggle of a lot of entrepreneurs today is of trying to figure things out. I was in network marketing for quite a few years. Struggled, of course, going to church during that time and staying close to God and praying, pray. Sometimes we want to pray our way to success, and,
Yeah.
and that just didn't work out for me. And finally, I just decided to go all in into digital marketing, got certified with ClickFunnels, done worked with a lot of softwares, and finally realized that one of the what was I was finally realized is what was it that I could help the business owners with, which it was, we all have a gift, right? In mine, I just fell in
Yeah.
love with digital marketing. It's just amazing when you know what you're doing and when you know how to help somebody.
Sure. That's cool. So, um, you talked about like going to church and how that's um, had a bit of an impact in the direction you took. Let's talk a little bit about more of that. Tell us more about your faith journey in there.
Yeah, I think the same thing for all of us as entrepreneurs. What we want to figure out is how to be successful in our life to for our families, right? And I think even at that point, this was like I don't know how many years I started studying um, business ownership with kingdom principles, right? And I just started realizing, and God started speaking to me into Deuteronomy 8:18. For it is God who gives us the ability to create wealth, right? And Jeremiah 29:11, when it says, "Well, we know the plans we have for you, plans to prosper you, give you hope in the future." And I see a lot of Christianity and a lot of business owners in the kingdom that are struggling really bad, right? So I was kind of confused. I was like, if we're supposed to have all this, why doesn't the Christian community have it? And so I went to study that. I actually did a couple of sermons on that um, at the church and talked about money because that's something that God, in the whole entire Bible, God speaks more about money than a lot of other subjects that we think. He actually speaks more about money than he does about sin.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So I went into like, so what is it, that people do that? And I just think that, we have a misconception. I think the enemy is trying to tell us that you don't deserve it, that money is not good, and money is just a freaking tool that we can use to impact the world, right?
Right.
And I think for me that was my aha moment. I was like, what can I do in with these tools to impact the world, and everything in life. I think most of entrepreneurs, we try to find that quick success story or that millionaire elevator to success versus the
Yeah.
stairs, right? And I just think that the society and the gurus out there, um, they painted a picture of success being so easy, and that is not the case. Because if it was easy, everybody would be successful today, especially
Sure.
us in the kingdom, right? Because God should give us, he says, seek, he will give us everything that we want, right? But there's a lot more content in there when he says seek me first. And I think sometimes we're not seeking him in our business the way we should be. And we say we are, but just like everything in life, we have some blind spot that we need to analyze. What is it that we're doing? What is it that we're not doing? And are we really intentionally getting up every morning and say, God, use my business, not for mine, but for your purpose,
That's
right?
right. So
And
think about this. Like you talked about, I mean, we got so many factors going on here, Javi, about you've got your faith, where you're saying seek first the kingdom, and then all these things get added to you. And so I'm going to ramble. Maybe I'll ramble. Maybe I'll preach. I don't know where we're going to go with this, but
Sure, sure.
I feel like the 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 church I grew up in was seek first the kingdom and don't even focus on that at all. And you don't even need to grow a skill in that. If God wants you to be successful, He will. But then, if you do find that level of success monetarily, we're going to judge you because you were probably, you know, seeking mammon over seeking the kingdom. And so we've come out of that background where
That's good. Yeah.
gaining wealth is looked upon with suspicion. So now we take that and you overlay it with the skills you need to build a business and the incredible amount of time and energy and skills that you need to develop over the time and the patience you need to do that as well, right? And then still keeping that in mind with seek first the kingdom, God adds these things, but God help me from focusing on these things so that they don't be what I'm seeking, but saying, thank you, Lord, you've added that, but let's go and see what you want to do. Sorry, I'm just rambling on a rant here, but
That's good. That's good. That's good, Pat. That's good, Pat. I didn't know you were going to preach today, but okay, that's all. Well, so true. It's like we have a gift. Let's go back to the Bible. All these people from Solomon, from David, they had multiple wealth. So why are we so broke? Could it be that our heart is really in the mammon, not in the purpose?
hmm,
And if God wants to do something with you, but He's not able to because He knows what you'll do with it because He knows your heart. Now,
yeah,
your daily activities, like if your daily activities is just to sell something or to sell to increase yourself. And I think we wake up in the morning and we're like, I'm gonna go by with I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna pray. And let's be honest, we all pray just God help me increase, God help me this, but not God change my heart, how I
yeah.
feel about my business and society in this broken world. And how you're gonna use my brokenness and my skills
Wow.
to glorify yourself, not me.
Right. Okay. So let me hop into that because that is so good. You talked about the elevator to success versus the stairs. I'm going to take that a step further. We think we're climbing stairs, but what God does often is He takes us down the stairs, the wrong direction, we think, into a tunnel. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, and He wants us to walk faithfully through the darkness for a very long period of time, much longer than we think anyway, before we find the stairs to success we still have to climb. And I think what God's done that in my life. I think what God is doing is testing us day by day by day by day, year by year, to see what character we're building and where we're keeping our focus, so that when we get to the stairs, we can climb the stairs and He can trust us with what He has for us at this top of the stairs, because He has seen our motivation and our faithfulness through the journey of the tunnel. Would you agree with that? Or
Powerful, powerful. And on top of that, let me put some context behind this, okay? Think about this. And we're like, well, God, why do you have me? I'm ready. Why don't you just open these doors of heaven and pour those blessings upon me that I can do that? And God knows our heart and He knows us so well. And it's kind of like you, Pat. You have kids, right?
yep.
When those kids were 5 and 7 years old, would you give them the keys to your car?
um, I might give them the wrong key to my car, but I'm not going to give them
Exactly. Maybe
the
that
key. Yeah,
go open the trunk and hide in there, but not the keys to go drive, right?
yep,
Why not? Because they will hurt themselves. They don't know what to do with that car. They will destroy. Even a teenager, sometimes we do that. Backstory. That's another one. That's another theme.
yeah.
But
All been there. Yep.
it's the same thing with God, like what you just said. He's like He's giving you one so you can start climbing one step at a time, so you don't fall down the stairs. So when I give you the elevator, you know who put you there.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, well, your father hands you the key to the elevator. Is w's happening.
In what does He say? In due time.
Yep.
Not in your time, not in
Yep.
your time, but in due
Oh, it's
time,
so hard.
which is really the hardest part of it all. Come on, if God wanted me to be successful, I would already been on it. So most of us give up because we don't believe it, because in the back of our minds, the enemy's playing tricks on you and telling you that you don't deserve it. And he's giving us that condemnation that we don't deserve it because we were bad people back then, and we were that, and you were a bad dad, and you were a bad husband, and you were bad this, and you had 3 marriages, and you already failed at 2 different businesses. So what makes you think this is going to be different?
That's good.
Joseph had to go into the pit to be raised to the top. But we don't want to go to the pit. In
No.
business, we talk about the J curve, right? J curve to success. You got to go down before you go up.
Yep.
Everything in life, including business, you have to go down under to come up. Even Jesus had to go under to come back up.
Wow.
The purpose is in the pain. We want the purpose without the process in the pain. Like, Jim, I love working out, right?
Yeah.
If you don't feel the pain when you're working out, you're really not working out.
Right.
So what's different in life and in business, specifically because we're talking about business? Business is the same thing. Every pain will move you forward if you know who's driving that business.
Yep. Now, on top of that, now we talked about skill because I can give all of my effort and go through all the pain and still end up in the wrong direction with a complete failure because I didn't have the skill set to actually make it to success. Even after whatever 20, 30 years in business, you think you might have it. But I look at it like the blinders on a racehorse. They're running and they're trying to focus on this. But this then becomes my realm of knowledge I have. And I've done whatever 20,000 hours of business growth study and practice. I've got maybe a little bit wider, but it's still this. And now you, Javi, you come in with this, and you're seeing a little bit different, but we've got some overlap, right? And Holly, my wife, comes in with this, and we've got some good overlap. And between us, we have a lot bigger, but we still have a whole lot we don't see. And so we have to surround ourselves with people who can see over here and see over here. That's what team's all about, right? You have a team around you that say, it's not even like it guarantees success still. It just increases the probability of success. So our team now, we've got 12, somewhere in there. There's deep layers of abilities and expertise I can't even touch. If I tried to do a software business by myself, it would be, I think I would still be able to create some software I'm going to get 4 or 5 subscribers to. That's what I've done in the past. But to build a business with this foundation, you need the team. You cannot do it alone unless you want to be a solopreneur and just have a very small ceiling for yourself. So,
You hit it right there. Solopreneur entrepreneurs. They say that 80, 85 to almost 90% of the business fail within the first few years, right? Well, some people say two,
yeah,
some people say three, some people say four, whatever the fact is. Most people fail. And if you really think about it, the reason why we fail is because we try to be everything in our business. You want to be the marketer, the CEO, the CFO, the one who takes vacations, the one that does everything. Because I'm an entrepreneur. I have, my wife told me that yesterday. Well, you have a freedom to make whatever decision you want. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought when I signed up, but that's not the fact. And when you say teams, when you learn to actually understand that you cannot build a solid business by yourself. Right now, I have 8 people, right? I just got off the phone with one right before getting on the call with you, and understanding is like we all have a different gift, and that's what's going to make you in the software so successful, because it's not about Pat, it's about the team. And like I always say, tell people, entrepreneurs, I says, have you ever have you ever had anyway, because I do a lot of business coaching, right? I coach a lot of clients, and how I get them from the strategy code. I'm like, have you ever seen, what's your favorite team, right? And I always mess with them. I say, hopefully you don't tell me the Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, all you Dallas Cowboy fans, but whatever your team is, I say,
Let's
have you
go
ever seen?
Eagles. Let's go.
Oh, Eagles! I can take Eagles all day, right? But we're also competitors too, because mine is the Giants. But Giants and Eagles over the boys anytime. But think about
Absolutely.
this: have any of them ever gotten even to the playoffs? Because the best of the best make it to the Super Bowl, right? Because when you have a solid team behind and the super coach to tell them every play and how to do it, then they get to the Super Bowl. But even that, before that, they can get to the playoffs. Even to the playoffs, you don't get there by yourself. You don't get to play in the big leagues by yourself. There's no big 6 and 7 figure entrepreneur that actually made it there by themselves. And society is trying to tell them, says, you know what? You can build a 6 figure, 7 figure business by yourself. That is not true. If you do, good luck, because you're working 24 hours a day. You have no time for God, and the demon he just got you, and he deceived you into saying, "I just need to work in my intent to become 100% successful. Forget the church and forget God. Forget I don't have time for that because I gotta make money,
Yep.
and that's
Wow.
dangerous."
So um, let's pivot a little bit. What kind of challenges or concerns keep you up at night regarding the work, your work?
I think for me right now, today, I think it was different 6 months ago, 12 months from now. Right now, is scaling team.
Team.
Who is the right people for my team,
Yeah.
right? Because let's be honest, we wish everybody would be, right? But not everybody has this right intention. Some people just in it just because they want, the cash, and then 3 months and then they leave, and it's very hard for us. So it's a lot more expensive to bring in people on board than to actually keep them for a long time, right? And most of them, I read a book from Grant Cardone talk about the millionaire employee. So for all those people who actually you're working for somebody else, you can still be a millionaire as an employee. They just people don't understand how to build that. So we all think that the only way you become successful and a millionaire is being a business owner. That is not true.
Hmm. So expand on that a little bit. Like you're talking about intrapreneurship, right? Inside of a business, being an entrepreneur inside of an organization as an employee. Is that where you're
Sure.
going with it?
For example, let's just say I'm actually coaching an irrigation company right now, right? I told them, I said, who is your people that you trust and so forth? These are the people that's doing the actual work, right? I say, how much are they making? Whatever they're making a month, whatever they're making a year. Let's just say they're making 75K a year. Says, how do
Yeah.
you make? I say, why are they happy making that money? And most of them say, would they want to make more? Of course they want to make more. It says, if they don't make more within you, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go find somebody else for an extra dollar an hour and go leave them because I need to feed my family and I want the success for me. So you're not giving it to me. I'm going to go find it somewhere else. So what this entrepreneur, the millionaire employee talks about is actually saying, how do we grab let's just say I'm one of the employees. How do I grab Javier, and he's good at digital marketing, but now I can grab him and say, hey, Javi, you're so good at that. You're so good with people. Would you like to actually on the side go and sell? And then on top of that, in the weekends, would you like to come in and do a little bit of work on the technology, right? How do you give them different areas and expand their mind and bless them? Because that's exactly what we need to do with our team. It's not about using them like racehorses. It's for them to empower them and give them
Yep.
anything. And you think for a minute that somebody like that feels like that they're going to want to leave you, and the answer is no.
Right. That's right. So let's look at this from the point of view. If you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast and you're an employee, how can you take this idea and run with it? So maybe you're an employee, you want to be a business owner, and you think, how can I make more money in my business? Perhaps you're someone that's got really good ideas and you have confidence that you can expand those, take that idea and run with it in the company, see the company grow. Here's what you do. This would be my advice anyway. Maybe Javi's got some other ways to tweak this or make it better. But you detail the idea and how you would implement it. You look at the potential impact on the business. You go to your employer and say, I have an idea that can bring you more money. I would like to make an agreement with you that I will do this on my own time or for a percentage of my time. I will cover the expense of it. And if we can grow the business and we'll be able to track our results, I would like X% of the increased revenue. The boss will likely say, that's a great idea. At which point you must say, let's put that in writing. I want you to sign off on it. Because if you don't get them to sign off on it, they will say 6 months later, thanks, Javi, that was a great idea, but I didn't agree to that. We don't have a contract. And then they will disregard what you've done. So you have to get them to sign off on that. Javi, do you think someone who's an employee, if they want to get into consulting, they took an approach like that because they're still an employee somewhere, they can see success from that? Would that be a good starting point for them? Almost a rhetorical question, because I think it's a good starting
Yeah,
point.
no, absolutely, absolutely. Instead of kind of going in there and a different idea, I would actually piggyback on that, right? The average business owners today, consultants, I don't know if you know the numbers, but the
No.
average consultant, they're making around $75,000 a year.
Okay.
So that says something, right? And the reason is because as consultants, we're doing a lot of work, right? And we can only think since so many clients a month, a week, right? So many people we can talk to a week, right? So what most consultants are not doing, because they came from corporate, because they do that, and like what you said, the ideas and so forth. Like for example, let's just say in the future, you say, Javi, the software is just killing it, and which I know it's going to be. I'm just biting my hands, I am biting my fingers until it comes out, right? So I try to put it out of my mind for right now until like it actually comes out. But when it does,
Yeah.
one of the things that consultants do not think about is actually using technology to buy time. You're an
Good.
entrepreneur. The software, people think, oh, yes, AI and this and that. What you don't understand is what it does for your life and for your business. What technology has done for me, it buys me a lot of time. Because if we're all honest with ourselves, for example,
Yep.
I need to do A, B, C. How am I going to take this business from A to B and C and everything? Can you do it on your own? Absolutely, 100%. Good luck. Go do it. Hey, more power to you. But guess what? You're losing. You're leaving money on the table because we don't want to spend money in software. And the problem is when you buy it's we see it we see it backwards. And again, this is when we need to use wisdom, the wisdom that comes from God. Because if we actually use it and implement, like knowledge is great, but knowledge with implementation is just useless.
Yep.
Well, a lot of people are talking about this, and if you really think about it, it's like do the numbers. Says how much. If let's just say the software cost me, I don't know, $300 a month. If it's costing me $300 a month, how much time is it saving me to do these things if I was to do it manually? And then now, if you use that wisdom, that knowledge that you have from that software, and then you say, whoa, if I do the numbers right, this is going to save me 20 hours a week. Now can have a client extra, and he's paying me an extra $2,000 a month, and now I'm paying $300 a month. I don't know about you, but that's probably around 5x.
Exactly. Yeah. So think about what you need to make per hour. What does that software save you in terms of hours? Right? What value does it bring? And is it worth the time? Which
Yep.
for some people, let's say, for example, this sounds a bit crazy, but I learned this a long time ago living in Kenya. If I want to make $200 an hour and I have to drive somewhere and I'm driving an hour there and an hour back, that costs me 2 hours.
Yep.
Well, could I have someone drive me for there and back? It could be Uber, where it might cost me $50 there in North America and $50 back. What's $100? But I've freed up 2 hours sitting in traffic doing work that I can bill out at $200 an hour. That's the
Exactly.
difference. Right. It's just a different way of thinking. We think, why would I hire? I can drive myself. It's just an hour there and back. Well, that is 2 hours. You don't get that back again. And
Yep.
then, this, of course, the obvious extension of this is you're going to be a consultant. Why are you doing any social media for yourself or for your client? Like, why are you posting Facebook things, whatever? Get someone to do that, because that's the $5 or $10 an hour job.
Delegate.
Don't be doing
Delegate.
that kind of stuff as a consultant.
So
Right.
that's a super great point. It's like we sometimes we want to spend. And I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday. She's like, "Well, I'm posting this. I'm posting." I'm like, "Why are you doing that yourself?" I'm like, "Do you? How much is?" And then while I was telling her, "How much is your hour worth?" She said, "Well, I'm $130." I'm like, "So you're paying $130 to do social media?" She goes, "Oh no, I'm doing it myself."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You just told me your hour's worth $120. I can find
Yeah.
somebody $5 and do that for me." She was
So
like,
basically, she's outsourcing internally to herself
yes,
to get it done.
$120 versus
Yeah.
$5.
So I made, hey, 2 social media posts that cost me $260. That was a great deal. I'm
So
like, wait,
yeah, example. I don't know if I ever told you this, but we just developed voice AI. Like I just paid
yeah,
almost $140,000 for to the servers and stuff like that. The voice AI. What problem am I solving for that? I was trying to solve the problem of people making appointment setting because the I'm the, I've struggled with this so much with clients because I work with a lot of coaches, consultants. They're not making the calls. They're not following up, and I'm like, I put this on autopilot, right? And I'm like, before you ask me how much it costs, let's find out how much it's costing you right now. And
that's
we
good.
put the numbers together. It was like 10 times cheaper to actually have AI. Oh wait, I don't want to use AI. It just sounds freaky and all that. I'm like, you have GPS. You've been using it for how long? Amazon, Alexa, all these. I'm like, what do you? I just got a call this morning from my Vision appointment tomorrow morning. It says, "Hi, this is I'm calling you from Vision," and it was you could tell it was AI. Right? It says, and we just want to make sure that when you come in 10 minutes early, and this and that, whatever. Dude, that would have cost somebody how much an hour for 5 hours to call people all day and do that manually. And
Yeah.
again, the reason is I say that is because like we need in what we're at today in 2024 as entrepreneurs, as solopreneurs, as consultants, you need to start looking if you want to grow, you have to start looking at technology to make your life easier and to delegate all this stuff to AI, to assistants, to
Yeah.
software, to do that work for us. And that is going to be because if you're not doing it, your competition is.
So, Javi, tell our audience what you're working on right now and why they would want to take advantage of that. You mentioned voice AI. Tell us about that.
Well, it's very simple. I've seen the struggle with people. I actually, one of my friends, he's actually owns a virtual assistant company in the Philippines, right? He's got 800 people, and I actually went to train him a lot of this people. But guess what? They were leaving. They leave. They don't. The conversion was so low and everything. When we implemented voice AI to that, it just changed completely his business. And now he's telling him, he goes, "Would you like?" So most people actually, this was the idea because somebody told me this one day. He goes, "Javi," he goes, "if you can give me a VA that has no feelings, that does not sleep, and does not complain, I'm in." Guess what I went to do? I went to build it.
Yeah.
And Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook said that the other day. Somebody sent me a post. One of my clients sent me. He goes, "I guess you were right," and he sent me the post that he did. He said, within the next 10 years, every small business is going to have their own AI assistant.
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's coming.
It's already here. We already built
So,
it.
yeah, the message to those who are afraid of using AI, Chat GPT, or whatever, think back. My high school days in grade 10, I took a typing class on an old typewriter. We sat there clacking keys, right? And then the word processor came along 3 or 4 years later. And whenever I got my first word processor, word processor computers, probably the late 80s. And that's new technology. And it's like we're pushing that typewriter aside. It's now a collector's item. We're now doing word processing. And then internet comes along, and it's like, oh my gosh, I got 1 megabit a second, whatever, speed. I was so happy. I paid $400 a month for one. And then it's like, because I wanted to upload documents and do videos and things. And then we're now at a what is it, 1,000 gigabytes,
Yep.
whatever, of speed. You can get that easily. So it just keeps going. And now AI comes in, it's transforming almost everything. Um, and it is the next big monumental shift in the business world. So saying I don't want to get involved is saying I want to stick my head in the sand for the next decade or the rest of my life and miss out on the fundamental change of the future.
Hmm.
You should get involved. It's just a matter of doing it smart, and voice AI is something that you're doing. So Javi, we got to wrap up here. Our time is about over, but I want people to be able to get a hold of you, to contact you, talk about voice AI, talk about what you're doing at 10x Advantage. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Well, you can always, reach out to me at AI launch that AI launch that AI. That is actually the new AI subdivision that we're doing for that part, because the other one's my consultant. The 10x Advantage is my consultant, my coaching. So we build that side, AI launch that AI. But absolutely, I'm always here to serve you, man. I'm thank you so much for what you're doing and the future for us with what you're doing in the software area. That's gonna be a game changer for many of us. I'm ready. I'm ready to eat that. Right? That's kind of like the way I see it. And for all of you guys out there, choose your fear, because you said something. Some people are scared of AI. Choose your fear. I'd rather be scared. Are you scared of AI? You're scared of being broke.
Yeah.
If you don't leverage it, you just, like you said, put your head inside the sand and just ignore it or act like it's not there. It's there, and it's not going to stop.
That's good. Well, bless you, brother. Good to see you. Thanks for
Yes,
being
yes,
part
yes.
of our little show today. And yeah, God's
Absolutely.
rich blessings on you and your work through your ministry as you go forward with these different um, services you're providing our community. I appreciate that.
My blessing was here being with you today.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you, Pat.